Hey, what's up, guys? This is Big Mobile Mechanic LLC again. I'm here doing a job for this lady here at AutoZone. It's a radiator. I'm not going to show you all this job. The whole purpose of this video is to the drama that happened that other day about the lady not paying me and calling the cops on me. The thing is that there's a lot to it, really. Like I felt it. All the mechanics and all the comments that I'm getting are pretty bad, and I felt the vibe from the texts and the calls that I got from her. I already felt it, so I had already canceled with her on the text message. I had canceled with her. She called me back and started telling me how much she needed me to come by and finish the job, or do the job. And so I gave in, right? And I ended up going and trying it out and giving her the benefit of the doubt, right? And when I show up, right as soon as I show up, she put the alternator and on the ground, not talking to me, not saying anything, no words, no nothing were exchanged. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry about the miscommunication and the problems that we're having or whatnot, but I just want to make it clear that we're okay, right? You know, she's like, yeah. You know, she walked away. Like, all right. You know, I started on the job knowing the call that she already gave me, knowing that she was like, she needed a mechanic. She didn't know nobody else in town. She didn't know no mechanics or anything, right? So I started on the job. As I'm getting through the job, I come to the part where I have to unhook the alternator to get the alternator out. So I come up to her and I'm like, hey, I need your keys. She says she ain't giving me her keys. I was like, what the heck? All right, pop your trunk. I need to get to your battery, or to look for your battery. I was guessing it was in the trunk, and she's like, yeah, you're not doing that either. So I was like, well, I need to unhook the battery to get to the alternate, to get the power system unhooked off your vehicle, so I can finish this job. I don't want no sparking or causing a fire or anything, right? She didn't let me do that. I ended up pulling the alternator off with the battery plugged in and everything plugged in, right? It was a pain in the ass. Nothing sparked. Luckily, I was really, really careful with that. So I pulled it off. As soon as I pulled it off, I set it to the ground. She comes up. So I set the alternator down on the ground, and then she comes up and she's like, is this the alternator? I said, yeah. She's like, put it in my back seat. I was like, man, you're yelling at me now, you know? So I ignored her. I would have done it, but later on during the day, after I would get done or something. I usually do that. So I don't do that. She grabs it, she throws it in her back seat. I start back on the vehicle, on the alternator, finish the alternator, get done doing all my checks to make sure that everything's plugged in, everything's kosher or whatever. Come up to her and ask her to get the keys so that I can start the car. She says again, no, you're not getting my keys. Okay, whatever. I walk back to my truck. I take a breather, I smoke a cigarette, I can get some AC or something in my truck. And then I come up to her and I think about it and I'm like, you know what, this lady don't want to, I don't think she's gonna pay me, right? So I had a feeling that she didn't want to pay, so that's why I didn't want to do the service of jump starting her car or starting her car and doing all the final checks until I got paid. I wasn't about to get ripped off. I didn't want to do that. And if I would get ripped off, which she could have. Mind you, I haven't even talked about the cop thing yet. So I waited. I asked her, so I got the plan of asking her, hey, what are you gonna pay with, cash, card, check? What are you gonna pay with? Right away, she says she ain't paying me until I get her car started. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna get your car started until you pay me, because I don't have a good feeling about you paying me. You seem like you don't want to pay or something. You seem like you got other plans for this. I mean, this is a mean lady. So I asked her to pay me. She don't want to pay me, and right away she's like, I tell her, well, if you're not gonna pay me, I'm gonna pull the alternator back out and you're gonna be stuck. Well, I'm calling the cops, she says. So she called the cops, and then y'all can see the video that the cops showed up and all that. Cops showed up. She's yelling at the cops. She's screaming at the cops. Then I'm telling the cops my side of the story or whatnot. Finally, they're like, well, let's just go tell her that we'll give her a charge. Oh, no, let's go tell her that if you get the car started, will she pay you then? And I was like, well, no, I'm not starting no car until I know for sure she's gonna pay me. So the cop's like, well, you know what? Let's go tell her that if she don't pay you after the car starts and after you do your checks, she gets a theft. I forgot what it's called. It's just a theft or whatnot. So I was like, all right, I'll deal with that. I can do that. So that's when I got my jump pack, got the car started, checked voltage on the alternator, checked voltage on my meters to check what kind of voltage were coming out of it. And sure enough, there was, I think it was 14.5 on it. Also, it was running kind of hot, or alternator was running kind of high just because the battery was really dead. But mind you, she didn't let me touch the battery or jump or charge the battery while I was working on the alternator or anything. She didn't let me do any of that. So all you guys that are telling me that I should have charged the battery before, I already know all that. I already know. It says it on my estimate that I'm gonna do the alternator and then I'm gonna do my checks after that. It's on my estimate. Cops seen the estimate. Or the invoice. It's all included in all that. It's a pack. I know that. It's on my book. So I already knew that, but I was gonna get paid. I wasn't about to do a job and not get paid for it. I've been ripped off a whole shitload of times. Y'all can watch some of my other videos on YouTube and TikTok, and y'all know that I've been ripped off a couple of times already. I hope I got everything out there. Can't remember what else I missed and from all the comments and stuff. But yeah, no, I'll do the checks. Every single car, I can do a thermostat and I'll still turn on the car coolant. I'll pour the coolant. I'll stay with the car until it starts heating up or warming up, so I can make sure that the thermostat's gonna open up. It can be an electrical wire that I change, and I still will turn on that car before I leave. Every freaking mechanic knows that shit. You can't tell me that you don't. Everybody that I deal with, everybody, anything, every time. I can do a brake job and I'm still gonna drive the car. I can do a tire change. I'll still drive the car. The car is still gonna turn on for every job. But when it's somebody like this or something like this, she just kind of tricked me into getting out there to do the job, which I did go do the job. I even quoted her, estimated her, or gave her the estimate a lot lower than what I usually give for something like that. I'm doing the video because it was a perfect opportunity to show that there is people like this doing this to mechanics and people that are doing services for other people and not getting paid for it. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe if it's on YouTube or TikTok or whatnot.